There's a place where the living and the dead trade whispers.
Where shadows don't just follow, they watch.
Where one thin barrier holds back what waits on the other side.
You've stepped into the veil between. What you're about to hear drifts between fact, belief, and the unknown. The veil between is for entertainment purposes only.
Our stories, research, and experiences are our own, not medical, legal, or professional advice.
So step carefully, and remember, the choice to believe is always yours.
Welcome back to the Veil Between podcast, fam. Hope everyone's having a great day. We are here with special guests. We got a
special guest indeed.
Yeah, I think a lot of you already know Nina.
This is Nina. Those of you who see her on my Instagram and Facebook profiles, this is her, the crazy, mischievous, very intelligent cat. I just wish she used the intelligence for something good. But this is her right here, and she is going to be turning 20 years old this year.
Wow,
officially.
Old lady, but she doesn't look that old.
No, she doesn't. Thankfully,
she looks really good for her age.
Yeah, combination of naturopathic medicine and seeing the doctor constantly and just taking really good care of her, but also the familiar bond, which is something we're going to talk about today on this episode. There's a lot to cover.
And this is Penny making her debut. I think only people on the book club have seen a picture of her, but here she is making her debut. She's a little shy, but I would say she's presenting a little bit of the traits of a familiar, a little bit. So
she's beginning the journey to bond.
Yeah,
the bonding process.
Bond has been getting stronger more than just like pet and owner.
Yeah, And that's the familiar process. It doesn't happen overnight, number one, and there's no rituals that can establish it because the door swings both ways on this. It's a bond that's created through time, but also the choice. Animals have a choice themselves as much as individual people out there, naysayers would like to say they don't have souls and they can't make decisions. It's not true at all. Everything that God has created has a nefesh, therefore has a soul. So they have the ability to make decisions for themselves. Now, their intellect and reasoning is on a different, most of it transpires on a different plane than us. They have extrasensory abilities that we do not have and that we cannot quantify with our modern science. But it's there. Anyone who's spent time with animals has seen it and knows that it's there. They're very intelligent in their way, right? That's the problem with, I think, modern society is that we tend to quantify intelligence only by academia, and that is false. As a false intelligence. Intelligence can be found in everything in the universe. It's simply a matter of understanding the perspective in which they are designed to function by our creator.
Well, I also think that anyone who is a pet parent knows. They know that their pets have a soul and they each have their own personalities.
Yeah.
Right. And different levels of intelligence. Some are really smart and some are not. But so any pet parent knows. And I think that the scientists and people who say, oh, they're just dumb animals, I think they don't know because they don't have animals themselves. They don't have pets. And that's a really ignorant way of thinking.
Yeah. I always tell people the Bible is one of the most important books to learn when you're becoming a magician. It is. And the Bible states that we were given dominion over the animal kingdom, over the animals. So Adam, our primordial ancestors, spent time with animals and their primordial ancestors, creating a bonding process with all of them. And he named all of them. And when original sin happened and we fell from the Garden of Eden, they came with us.
I don't believe that.
By choice.
By choice.
By choice, they came.
I thought last time you said that it wasn't by choice, that God said they're evicted.
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's both. They are kind of ours to look after, like God, we are God's, but also a choice. It's a choice. Everything that they do that they're here for is a choice. They provide themselves as a choice. This is why we get prayer. But yeah, to some extent, I think they were kind of evicted. I think it's a decision of love. Adam, when he made the decision, when he saw what happened, when Eve took from the fruit, ate, because deep down inside, he knew there were going to be consequences. And Trey Smith covers it, I think, the best way when he said that Adam choosing to eat the apple, although he did not have the ability to rationalize it, was an act of love because he knew what was going to happen to his soulmate. And he said, well, here we go. Ate from the apple as well. Animals kind of did the same thing. Like, oh, look, our partners in creation, our masters are being sent to this place. So we must go with them, right? And it's hinted at in the Bible a lot, especially in Jude. But it also hints in Jude how the process of the bond was broken during the antediluvian period. A lot of the bad stuff that transpired created a fracture between the human and animal kingdoms. You can thank the fallen angels and demons for that. And also our ancestors who began to hunt and kill animals. And this was before God gave permission for it to happen. And also there was a separation that was created cognizantly because of this. Animals began to become weary. So there was a time when you could have a pet lion or a bear and you wouldn't have to be wary of them because there was so much food in the world. It was very plentiful. And the bond that we had was very strong.
Mm.
So the familiar bond is a process in which a member of the animal kingdom bonds with a human being on the same frequency, thus becoming familiar, similar in the etheric layers. That's the absolute definition of a familiar. Now, through history, that's been warped and changed. When the satanic forces took over the Catholic Church and created the Inquisition, they created horror stories about familiars being demons. Women with the sacred knowledge and sacred wisdom, and not just women, mostly women, because as I always tell people, women are the majority of the individuals who have psychic gifts, spiritual gifts. They are the majority. Okay. Most women are very gifted. So these women who decided to take the spiritual path away from secular society were persecuted and targeted by the Inquisition, witch hunters, all sorts of awful forces. And they were targeted for a reason. They were targeted because the Luciferian forces that took over the church and the governments of Europe at the time wanted to eliminate powerful psychic bloodlines within humanity to pave the way for an easy conquest. The conquest that we're seeing slowly unfold right now before our eyes. So they wanted those people gone, spiritual people. So this is the reason why the witch hunts began. The witch hunts didn't begin because the actual evil satanic witches were the ones doing the killing of the good witches, of the good practitioners, of the good magicians, of those who were loyal and loving to God. So that's the truth. That's the ugly truth that the church has covered up. And I'm probably going to catch a lot of flack for that, and I don't care. This is the truth. It is the absolute objective truth. They killed off the psychic bloodlines in order to make it easy for humanity to subjugate. Sounds like something out of a novel, I know, but it's the truth. And one of the lies they came up with is that the cats and dogs and birds and lizards and turtles and all these wonderful little creatures that were with their magician, witch, practitioner companions were demons. They are not. Clearly, they were not demons. But this is something that they made up in order to further cement their cause to ruin the lives of these individuals and to have reason to persecute them violently. All right. They had to destroy every aspect of it. Because when you see someone with a pet, you think, oh, they can't be that bad. Right? That can't be, oh, that can't be that bad. A loving pet, that dog loves them, that cat loves them. So you have to find a way to vilify them completely. So this was the lie that they created. This is a demon. It's not a demon. Although some Luciferian, powerful, negative practitioners, say Aleister Crowley, had demonic familiars. But this is where these rumors and lies come from. I wanted to delve into this history first to clear that up before we move forward and teach the actual lessons of what the familiar bond is.
More like how to create a familiar bond.
Yeah. So we have to look at the past and the mistakes that were made and unravel the lies. And then we're going to talk about what is the familiar bond.
Not all pets are familiars. And the surest way to start finding a familiar is when you are looking, if you're looking for a new pet, a new animal, cat, dog, lizard, frog, turtle, whatever, the most important step is to let the animal choose you. You cannot force it. You can't just be like, I picked this one and they're going to bond with me. That's not how that works.
Yes.
It is their choice.
The animal will go with you. It'll obey you. It'll respect you because you have dominion over them. But that does not necessarily equate to a familiar bond or the process of familiar bonding.
Mm-hmm. So you are obviously also choosing them. It's a two-way agreement. It's a two-way bond. It has to go two ways. But they're the ones that actually cement that bond. So your role is to just stay open, keep yourself open to receiving the bond.
Yes.
And then if they want to connect with you, then they will solidify and cement that bond with you. They will create that connection.
Yeah. And then the journey begins. And as the journey begins, you start noticing things.
Let's first go with, how do you know if they're picking you?
That's a good question. Simone.
So, well, if it's a dog or a cat, well, I mean, I don't know. I've never had like anything other than a cat or a dog. So I'm not really sure of the signs of the other animals. But for a cat or a dog, if you pick it up, when you're at the shelter or the rescue or wherever, if it automatically latches onto you, gives you what I like to call a baby hug, they nestle their little head between your shoulder and your neck and snuggle up, like they latch onto you. That's immediate. They're like, you are my person. I feel safe with you.
Yeah.
There's signs like that. So those are clear indicators with cats and dogs. I'm not sure. I think you've had other types of, you've had like a pet rat.
Mm-hmm. That was not familiar.
Okay.
Not a familiar. I just plucked that rat. Started taking care of her and him. I had two of them. But Nina, my little sweetie pie right here, she chose me out of all the women that were there. And there was just me, my big old clunky self standing there. And I was looking for a cat. My team leader said, having pets was a good thing to help deal with PTSD and all of that. So I went to go look for a cat. And as I was there, she just came out and picked me from a bunch of people. And I held her and I looked at her. She was not the beauty that she is now. Everyone sees the pictures of her. She's so cute. She was a modeled little thing with huge ears and big feet. When she first started, she was so uncoordinated when she was a little baby. And she had these big feet and claws that she would always have out. She'd always have her claws out. And just giant ears. She looked like one of the gremlins before they transformed and lost all their fur. That was exactly what she looked like a gremlin. Big ears. And so I was like, okay, I'll just choose this one. I didn't really care about looks or anything like that.
So she was an ugly duckling.
She was definitely an ugly duckling. She was an ugly duckling. She's beautiful now, but no one else was really looking at her back then. They were oohing and ahhing at the other kittens there. And so I just kind of looked at her and she just kind of looked at me and I picked her up and she just kind of rolled, like you said. For me, though, she rolled up into a ball and then kind of placed herself on my chest. And I was like, okay, well, she likes me. So at least I know I won't get swiped in the eyes if I, if I upset her. And we squabble a lot, but she never does anything mean to me. Like I hear other people talking about, or you see other people getting swiped by their cats, right? You see other people getting bit or things that never happened with me and her. So we definitely have a very close bond together.
That's awesome.
So Simone's absolutely right. They have to pick you. A lot of us have this solipsistic idea of viewing the world. Everything that we do as magicians needs to come with an understanding that our reality is interacting with other realities, including theirs.
All right. So let's go into, there are different types of familiars. You don't really know what kind of familiar you'll have until it starts manifesting.
Like people, they have different personalities, different talents, different gifts.
Yep. From interacting with Nina over the years, I can definitely say she is an empath.
Yeah.
So, because I kind of see her behavior mimicking some of the things that I experience and feel. Like she kind of responds to the same things that I do. If there's a lot of tension, like in the neighborhood or whatnot, she will react the same way.
She also has a lot of kinetic potential. So when I was doing rituals and meditations and things like that, as a magician, she just helps out a lot. I can feel her presence augmenting my confidence, augmenting a lot of things, and bringing a lot of good fortune to me. And I know that's not completely attributed to my own skills. I know that she's helped bring that. And that may sound crazy to people, but once you start to develop a understanding and cultivation of the etheric layers, you start to feel other presences and you become familiar with that. And thus, another little aura in the etheric layers where you start to say, hey, that's a little me.
Yeah. And I was just going to say also, I think their role is to complement you. So maybe if there's something that you're lacking in,
Yeah.
that you're not, you're
I
not too
suck at
aware
empathy.
of
Yeah.
and connected with, they will pick that up and they'll be like, this is how I balance my person out. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be a balance between, within the bond between the familiars, because not only is the pet a familiar, the person, the human is also familiar. You're both familiars.
Yeah. And a lot of folklore and a lot of myth folklore when it comes to cats, calicos are known as the money cats. And they bring a lot of success and fortune. And I feel that she's brought that into my life.
Oh, that's great. Well, I was going to say, I mean, for you, with her ability to be an empath, she's able to balance you out. So with the PTSD, she calms you down.
She does.
When you have a hard time, I've watched her. She'll come up to you if you're getting heated or if you're spiraling, she will come up to you, she'll sit with you, she'll lay on your chest or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just watch the difference in your attitude, like your what's like your presence. You just kind of deflate and just like release.
And also when I'm hosting parties, and she is such a little hostess. She goes around and she makes the rounds greeting everybody.
Really.
I think your husband pointed it out, and you and your
She
husband pointed it out.
followed him to the bathroom.
Yeah, she followed him to the bathroom.
And he was freaking out. He was like, what is wrong with your cat?
She's like, it's over here to the right.
Yeah, it
Don't
was
worry,
pretty
I'll
funny.
help you find it. Yeah. But yeah, she was gathered. She just went to everybody in the living room and she greeted everyone, spent a little bit of time. It was a great little hostess.
Yeah.
Hostess, yeah. So the different types of familiar. So we covered empath.
Yeah. So now another one is like, I would say like a protector, warrior,
The guardian.
guardian. There you go. And then is there anything else?
The kinetic.
And what is the kinetic?
The kinetic is those who augment your prowess, your abilities, things like that.
So they like enhance your.
They help enhance your. Yeah, I would say she's a cross between an empath and a kinetic. She's definitely not a guardian, though.
No.
So, if someone's breaking in the house, or if a negative entity is coming, I'm kind of on my own.
So, like I said, our bond is just forming. So I haven't yet figured out what she is. But from you witnessing how she is with me and how she acts, what kind of familiar would you say she's molding into?
Guardian.
A guardian?
Definitely guardian. She's got guardian written all over her.
Really? Why is that?
Because of how protective I see she is over you. Like Percy's her boyfriend, but if Percy tries to jump on you and greet you whenever you come over, Penny is super defensive. Like, hey, you be nice to my mama, right?
Okay.
I can tell that stance. Like, hey, be cool, and they'll play and all that, but she's very protective over you, right? So I just noticed that if any of my animals come, she's very, very careful in how she scrutinizes their approach. And I think that that's the makings of a good guardian. So when you meditate and she's around you, what type of tasks does she perform? She sit with you patiently and all of that.
I don't think I've started that process with her yet.
So, okay.
I haven't tried. I always, because she's still so hyper.
Yeah.
That I don't yet trust that she won't try to lick my face while I'm meditating. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't sit still. I mean, she's doing really good. This is not how she normally is. She's pretty chill right now. But she's still a puppy. She's a baby. So yeah, I haven't started meditating with her because I'm waiting for her to kind of mellow out a little bit because she will not sit still.
Yeah. That makes sense. But yeah, so these are the three types that we have identified. And sometimes the features blend together. Kinetics can also have the ability to inspire. So do empaths. They have the abilities to inspire. So these are the three traits we've noticed in them. This is kind of our own codification of the familiar process. So feel free to borrow it. Feel free to build on it. Feel free to throw it all out the window and come up with your own system. But you will start noticing some of the things that we notice about their abilities.
Yeah. And okay, so from my perspective as an empath, I've had other familiars. I've had a cat in the past. He was so smart. He was crazy smart. And we had adventures. It was pretty funny. He was a guardian for sure. I know he was a guardian, and he one night in the middle of the night, something woke me up. I don't know what woke me up. Okay. But I woke up and his face was right in his nose was on my nose and his face was right here. And I freaked out because you don't expect to see cat eyes. Like as soon as that's the first thing as soon as you open your eyes. And I freaked out and I screamed and I sent my bedspread flying. I was just like, ah, like, and he went flying and I felt so bad afterwards. I was like, oh my God. And I sat up and, oh, not only did he have his nose on me, but he also had his foot. He was like, I think that's what woke me up. I think he was patting my face. Like he was purposely trying to wake me up.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I sent him flying and once I woke up enough to be aware of my surroundings, it was bad because he sprayed me and I was like, oh, I was like gagging. I ran to the window and I opened it and I tried to air it out. I was like, what happened? Why would you do this to me? And I sat down with him and I was like, what is going on? And I felt the bond and it also felt really eerie in my room.
Yeah.
And I came to the realization that something was attacking me or tried. I don't think it actually did. I think it tried. It came in. It intruded in our space. And he
Woke you up.
sprayed. No, he sprayed to get it away,
Okay.
to scare it off. And then he woke me up like, you need to wake up.
Yeah.
I wonder, I don't remember. It was so long ago. It was years ago. So I don't remember if I was having a nightmare. I might have. But also, I know if I wake up in the middle of a dream or a nightmare, I won't remember it. So maybe he woke me up. He snapped me out of it in the middle and I just don't remember. But yeah, I definitely know he was a guardian and he fought off demons for me.
That sounds like a guardian, all right.
Yeah. Yeah. So after that, I sat down with him and I would meditate with him and my meditation, I did a specific meditation to connect with that familiar bond. And it was just being open and just holding him with me and connecting and trying to focus my attention on my familiar. And I could just feel the emotions. And I know that's probably really specific to me as being an empath, but try it. See if you can do that with your pet, with your
Yeah.
familiar, and see what you feel because they communicate through emotions, you'll feel something. You'll
Yeah.
feel a bond. I mean, what do you feel? You're not an empath. So what do you feel when you're experiencing the bond connection when you're trying to communicate specifically with Nina?
A tether. That's the best way to explain it, like a tether between the two of us.
But does it come as words? Does it come as pictures?
It comes as a feeling. It doesn't come in the English language. It comes
like an emotion.
more like an emotion, yeah. And then I can start to feel like if she's hungry, like hunger, water, thirst, love, she just wants to be held, right? Looking for a toy that's missing, things like that. After a while, you start to pick up on the cues,
Yeah.
right? As we start to bond, we get closer. To me, when I'm meditating or when I'm trying to reach out into the layers, my etheric sense picks her up as another echo of myself because she's a familiar. So she's thoroughly bonded to me. So it feels like a little me there, the frequency is the same, exact same. So I think that makes the process a little easier. And it's because it's been built over time and established over time.
Yeah. One more funny story I have about my guardian cat. So he was half inside, half outside. He would go outside during the day and then he would come inside with me at night. We had this ritual. When I woke up in the morning, we would together walk down the stairs and I'd take him to the front door, let him out, and then I would give him food and put the food outside, right outside the front door. And he was free to do whatever he wanted. Then I would go get about my day, get ready to go to work. So this one day I'm ready to go to work. I'm leaving and he greets me at the front step outside and he drops a bird right at my feet. And he looks at me and he sits back and he is so proud. His attitude, his demeanor, he puffs up his chest and he's like, I got you breakfast, mama. It was the cutest thing. Also, I screamed. I was like, well, I screamed internally because I was like, oh my God, I can't freak out because he'll think I'm ungrateful and I don't want to I don't want him to think I'm ungrateful, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, just keep it together. And I smiled and I bent down and I scratched his chin and I was like, you know what? I just ate. I was like, thank you so much. I appreciate your gift. Thank you so much. That means so much. It means so much that you thought of me. But you know what? I just ate. I'm full. You take it. You enjoy it. Like I legit said this out loud to him. And he looks at me and he kind of huffed. And then he picked it
Well,
up
if you
and
don't want it, I'll take
yeah,
it.
he was like, and then he did this like little cat sigh, like, and then he picked it up and ran off with it. And I was like, all right, have a great day.
So the communication, the ability to communicate is out there. You just have to reach for it. You have to make the attempts. And over time, I know it sounds kooky to some people who don't believe, that's fine. Over time, you will start to see the magic of the familiar bond and how you can communicate with each other. You'll start to understand each other very well. And it's more than just the superficial context in which normal pet owners understand their pets. So let's just reiterate what we've learned. The familiars are not demons. They are called familiars because they begin to resonate with the same frequency as the practitioner that they are bonding with. You cannot force the bond. You cannot force it. It is a two-way street. You want the bond, they have to want it as well. And it cannot be one of servitude. People think just because I picked you, you must bond to me. It doesn't work like that. They have free will as well. They're an expression of God as well. So your dominion only extends over their material service. Everything that goes beyond that is their decision. Just like their decision to be here with us, despite the fact that they're innocent and they did not fall from original sin, but their choice to bond with you is their own as well. It's a beautiful thing when it happens. So you'll start to see the signs. You'll start to feel the magic of the journey, as hokey as that may sound. But there are also other signs. Familiars that are long-lived. That's one of the things I notice about all familiars. They're very long-lived because they begin to bond with our frequencies, which help them last longer. Very long-lived. So usually 2+ decades is what you'll see with the familiar. They are very vocal and expressive, and your ceremonial practices and your meditative practices, you will start to notice their presence more and more and more. Is there anything that you would like to add?
Well, I wanted to add and get your feedback on this. A lot of my animals have been rescues. Most of them have been rescues, like from either a shelter or like a rescue. Most of them, I try to get them as really young babies, like kittens, puppies. Now, I do think that you can bond and have a familiar relationship with an older animal. There is that bond. I've seen it plenty of times. But do you think it's harder to create that bond because they already have their own baggage the same as you? Like they may have come from a really bad household, or they may have been on the streets the whole time, like a stray.
Yeah, it is. It's not to take away from adopting older animals. They are special and wonderful in their own way,
And they need love.
they need love too. But I would say the process is much easier if you adopt as an infant, newborn. It's much easier that way. It's not impossible to bond with an older animal.
Yeah.
It's not impossible. But I mean, like there's a lot of baggage you don't know about, right? There's those years you haven't seen. I know everything about this one right here.
I would say go in, yeah, that's not to detract you from rescuing an older animal.
Yeah.
I would say go into it not expecting them to be a familiar.
Go in and
Honestly, just go into it just giving them a better life than what they've already
give them a
had.
better life, yeah. And regardless, you're still going to get the karmic balance from that, right? Giving a good life to another being. We're going to say goodbye to these two and jump into our Q&A segment. Nina, and she's just busy grooming. She's going to groom herself. That's what's hot on the street right now, huh? Just
She got to look good for the
gotta
camera.
look good for the camera. I mean, I told you this morning you were going to be on camera. Where was all of this then?
All right.
right. Goodbye, sweetie.
We'll be right back. Okay, on to our questions. The first question comes from Chad. Do animals absorb or react to the energy of a home or the people in it?
Absolutely. I'll take this one because there's a lot to this. This is a really good question. Chad and Kelly, they always get us with the zingers. Those are really good questions. So shout out to both of them for their great questions. Yes, especially the guardian familiars that we spoke about earlier in the episode. They are very well attuned to the energies in the area. So one of the things that guardian spirits are known to do is to absorb psychic attacks that their master takes. So they are no absorb that. So if you have a guardian, so I know individual had a dog that was a guardian spirit, and the dog kept suffering ailments, and he figured out through meditation that someone was attacking him and the dog was absorbing it for him.
Yeah.
She didn't want the dog to do that because he loved the dog.
Essentially taking the bullet for him.
Yeah. He had this old pit hound mix. She loved him. She adored him. Definitely bonded to him, right? Listened to everything he said, and he understood her inside and out. So one thing he noticed that the animal was just taking the brunt of a psychic attack that was coming from a witch that he had a rivalry with in sort of ways. So they can definitely sense it. They could definitely sense it when your dog starts barking, growling, something not there. Your cat starts hissing, staring at something that's not there. It's because they have, and like I said earlier in the episode, they have a stronger etheric sense than we do. We're kind of detached from spirituality. The whole world that we live in is designed to separate us from our potential. It's designed to separate us from the spiritual. It's designed to ground us into this awful material realm. Jesus tells us the opposite. Let go of this world. Go into the spiritual realm, right? Let go of yourself. Go into the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven. Look forward to that. The world does the opposite. So animals, even though we fell and they came with us, they still have a very strong etheric sense. They can still see what's happening on the other side, even though we can't. A lot of us are blind, except for those who are psychically gifted, empaths, other individuals who are psychically gifted.
And let me just add on, when they notice something, they will reach out to you.
Yeah.
And even when nothing's happening and they're just trying to they always try to reach out to you. They're always trying to communicate with you. I want to play. I'm hungry. Whatever. They will communicate that. And you have to be open to receiving that communication. You won't hear it. It's very subtle.
Yeah.
They can't talk to you. They can't say anything, but there will be subtle clues. Like they might tap you with their paw, either on your leg, and you could see the way they look at you. They're like, look at me. Like they want to communicate with you. And so they're like, pay attention, pay attention. And so number one thing to be open, get off your phone, get off your computer, get rid of the distractions and focus on your familiar and open that communication. Allow yourself to receive whatever they're trying to project to you.
And that brings me to another thing, and I'm probably going to go down a rabbit hole right now. You ready?
Okay.
All right, buckle up. Evil does not like animals. Evil tries to separate you from nature on all levels. So one of the things you're going to see in the world that's coming is they're going to try to separate you. You can have a bunch of false prophets trying to separate you from your pets, trying to force you to create that distance, that diverge. And they're going to come out with all sorts of lies. They're going to sound so convincing. But remember, God created this world. And what did he say when he created this world and all things in it? That it was good. Everything natural is good. Animals are part of that. They're good. We have dominion over them. Okay? A lot of false prophets serve the infernal kingdom of Lucifer. The demons and fallen angels don't want you to have these animals. There was a false prophet, a very notorious one, who, when he was dealing with these fallen angels, unknowingly, unwittingly dealing with these fallen angels, the fallen angels did not come to his compound. And he went out to the mountain to seek the fallen angels. And he said, why don't you come to my compound? Fallen angels said, because you have dogs there. The reason why the fallen angels did not want to go to his compound is because he knew those dogs would lose their stuff and probably attack him. That's why. Even if it meant their deaths, they would defend their masters to the death. So what did this guy do? He believed the fallen angels instead and killed all his dogs, welcoming this demonic entity, this fallen entity into his life by killing the only things that was protecting him from it, because he unwittingly fell for it. So be careful. A lot of these false prophets out there don't want you to have access to protection from demonic entities, and animals are protection. Animals will protect you. We've seen dogs, cats, even reptiles will try to protect you. They'll do the best they can to protect you, especially if the familiar bond is there. They'll protect you even if you're just their owner.
The thing is,
the familiar bond's there, they will risk their life to defend you.
The thing is, they don't have an ulterior motive.
They don't.
That entity did.
Yeah.
They're smooth talkers, They have, what are they? Silver tongues, whatever they call
yeah. They'll try to scare you into thinking all sorts of stuff.
But if your pet, if your familiar is freaking out, acting out, and not acting like it normally would, it is guarding you. It is trying to protect you. It's trying to raise an alarm, trying to get you to listen. There is no ulterior motive. They're trying to protect you. They're saying stranger danger, something's wrong here.
Yeah. So I'm noticing that the opposition, the forces of darkness, are they're trying to create a divide between you and the animal kingdom, you and your pets. It's coming. It's not as prevalent as it will be in the last days, because they're trying to, even everything they're trying to do is to separate you from God's world. Even the food that they give you is artificial. Everything is to separate you from God's world, and removing you from your pets, your beloved pets, is one of the steps that they're going to take. So get ready. And the reason why they want to do it is to disarm you, because demons want access to your worldview and your home. And it makes it a lot easier if you don't have pets. So these false prophets that are going to lie, they work for the infernal legions. They're going to tell you, oh, your pet does this, your pet does that. Oh, it's bad to have them. Parasites. Your pet's not going to have parasites if you keep them clean. If you take them to the vet regularly, get them clean. If you wipe their feet after you bring them from outside with some baby wipes. I mean, you do it. I do it. I've seen your husband, after he comes in with your pets, he takes his time, wipes the feet down, cleans the bum and everything. I was very impressive. We were all walking our dogs together. So it was very impressive that what he did. There's a measure of guardianship that's required. So they're going to try to lie to you. And of course, yeah, there is parasite. Everything has parasites in it. That's the crazy part.
We have parasites.
We have parasites. You can get parasites from eating fish from the market, the wrong chicken, the wrong vegetables. You can get that. I already see them trying to scare people already. Oh, your pets have parasites. Well, maybe if you don't take them to the vet and don't get them taken care of, yeah, of course they're going to have parasites. You're going to have parasites if you don't go to the doctor, if you don't eat right, if you eat garbage, if you eat crap, if you expose yourself to dirty areas, don't take a shower. That's common sense. But you see how they're trying to stoke the fear in you. They're trying to stoke the fear in you by naysaying common sense and getting you to drop your guard so you can become susceptible to who they truly serve. So be careful with the dark magicians out there, the false prophets that Jesus warned us about, and listen to your heart. Love is always the answer. I apologize. That was a long tangent.
Well said. No, that was well said. Yeah. So thank you for your question, Chad.
So hopefully we more than covered that, Chad. If not, hit me up feel free to hit us up.
Yeah. Let us know if we missed the mark on that one. Tangents.
Tangents.
Tangents. All right. The next question is from somebody who would like to remain anonymous.
Okay.
What's the difference between a spirit animal concept and a living familiar?
Oh, okay. That's a really good question. Would you like to take this?
I like to see what you say, and then I'll add my 2
Okay.
cents.
Well, animal familiar is a immediate pet that you bond with on the material and etheric layers, whereas a spirit animal is strictly bonded to you on a etheric layer. So on the etheric layer, there's a whole nother kingdom on the other side. People don't realize. We can't see it. It's there, right? And there's also animals on the other side. So they can bond with you on the other side as well. Native Americans, a lot of the older shaman practices talk about this. Actual shamans, not the crazy people we ran into recently. They talk about all of this. This is always the spirit animal, the animal that inspires you in a way. And for me, it's a turtle.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's a turtle. For me, it's a turtle.
So for me personally, I just remember for years when I first started going down this journey, there was people in my circle in the area. We had meetups and stuff like that. And they were always talking about how they had spirit animals. And I was like, how do you get a spirit animal? And I was just like very fascinated because I love animals. So I'm like, of course I want a spirit animal, And I just couldn't figure it out. They were like, you meditate on it and you visualize like a whole row of a line of all these different animals, like Noah's Ark. Like there's one of each of species of animal. And then you go down the line and you give them a second and you're like, are you my animal spirit? Are you my animal spirit? And then the one that steps forward is your animal spirit. And I was like, okay, I tried it. Nothing. I couldn't visualize anything. I was like, what? How does this is so weird. And I was so frustrated. I mean, for years I tried this and I was like, man, I just want animal spirit. I want an animal spirit. So randomly, wasn't trying anything. I think I was frustrated, but like I gave up on trying and I was like, whatever, you can't force anything. Like you can't force the bond with your animal familiar. So randomly, I think I was going through some turmoil in my life, like something minor. I was just like stressing really, really bad about work and whatever, bills and whatever. And I'm sleeping and I have this dream and it felt so real. Like it was really happening. And it was the funniest thing. I heard this like rustling and this rummaging like outside my window. Like this is dream, but like the dream was I was in bed in my room. Everything was where it was. The window was where it was. And I heard this commotion outside the window. And all of a sudden I hear this like grunting, and the window opens, and there's like this like army crawl happening. I don't like outside the window, and just all of a sudden like this thing like falls into the window and like tucks and rolls and then pops up. And I just see these little raccoon hands. You know how they have the hands?
Yeah.
But it had a red bucket on its head, and it was like,
He's going through some stuff.
it was like, poor thing. And the thing is, I was laughing internally in the dream because I was like, he was reflecting immediately what I was feeling, the inner turmoil. He was presenting that externally, and and he was just like totally scatterbrained, and he was just like trying to get the bucket off. And I was like, okay, so my dream self went up to him and I helped him get the bucket off. And again, he kind of just huffed, and it reminded me a lot of my
Yourself.
older cat.
Oh,
No,
your
my
cat.
my guardian cat. It just had the same like aura presence, and he huffed, and he was like so frustrated and flustered. And he just looks at me, and he's like, he kind of gets this like dead stare, like he's like, I don't remember why I'm here. And I was just like, and I felt that kind of communication coming forward, like, what? I had a message. It was like very intentional. He was like, I have a message for you. I don't remember what it is. Oh, shit. He was like, and I was like, it's okay. It's okay. It's all right. Not a big deal. Calm down. It's cool. I was like, you know what? It's cool. You've had a night. It's been a night already for you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Like, I now know there is something I need to pay attention to. You can come back anytime. Like,
You went easy on him. He's doing the best he can. Right?
yeah, I was like, you can come back when you remember. It's okay. It's not a big deal. And that was that. But from that experience, and I was just cracking up laughing. It was just I was like, oh, that was so 1000% my spirit animal. Okay. It was like a mini me.
Yeah.
Just like
That's
he
funny.
was presenting, and I'm very forgetful. If you know me, I'm like, I have a really bad memory. And I think that comes from being an empath for me personally, because when I'm picking up these frequencies and everything, I don't think there's space in my head for my own stuff. It just kind of takes over. And so, yeah, I think that's why I don't have a very good memory. But anyway, so he was like a mini me. He was flustered. He had bad memory. Like,
Well, my spirit animals, I figured out it was a turtle. And once again, like Simone said, you can't choose. They choose you.
and in their own time. Like,
their
you
own time.
can't be like, I want this to happen right now. It's just not going to happen.
Well, I was a little boy. I was having nightmares, and I was like getting chased, and this freaking giant sea turtle just came out of nowhere. I was like on the beach suddenly, and this giant sea turtle just came out of nowhere, out of the water, just stomped out of the water, and just kind of headbutted this demon creature that was chasing me when I was a little boy. And the thing took off, and I just kind of look. I'm like, see this giant turtle in front of me, and he has a really deep, slow drawl, like, "How you doing, guy?" So I was like, "Hey there, thanks for saving me. Are you gonna eat me?" And he's like, "No, came here to help you. Looked like you were in trouble." And that dream resonated with me for a long time. Never forgot it. Never forgot it. And he showed up again when I was in trouble. I was having nightmares. I was sleep paralysis, and I was feeling this presence in the room, and then the turtle showed up. But he wasn't a sea turtle this time. He was like a big old snapping tortoise. He showed up, and I could just see him bite into something that I couldn't see in my mind's eye. And then I just kind of looked at me and just kind of nodded and walked off. And I was like, oh my God, like I didn't realize it at first, but this is my spirit animal right here.
I would say a huge difference, and you could tell by both of our stories, a huge difference between an animal familiar and a spirit animal. Animal familiars, we feel like they're our babies, right? They're like our children. They're our pet children, right? Like we are the caretakers of them. But they're also there to help us, right? Yeah. Whereas a spirit animal, I feel they are way more mature than we are. They're kind of like, I kind of feel like, I don't want to say they're not our higher selves, but we have a higher self. And I feel like they're on the level of our higher self. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like maybe they are the familiar to our higher self. I have no idea. And then they come down, and I see two main purposes: protection, like warning, protection, or they have a message.
Yeah, to help guide.
And so they're messengers. And there is a bond But it's, like I said, it's a different bond from the bond that we have with our animal familiar, where it's more of, they are our children, we are the parent, we're, there's that loving bond and stuff like that. This is like the opposite. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like they're like, I guess more in a traditional sense of like a guardian spirit, where they are more wizened than we are. They have more wisdom than we do. And they're coming to educate us, to warn us, to tell us, direct us on the right path. Like, this is where you need to go if you're hitting a hurdle.
And in a sense, I mean, we don't know everything, but
Yeah.
we're just hypothesizing. But in a sense, maybe they are guardian angels. They're just taking forms that we could, recognize a little bit easier, because quite frankly, the actual form of angels is terrifying. So if they took the form of animals, that'd be
Well, I have
understandable.
also had an experience with what I would assume is my guardian angel or a guardian angel, and it's very different. I don't think they are guardian angels. I don't. I think that, like, we have a higher self.
Well, I will say this, not every angel is some grandiose seraphim. Like most of them are not like the Archangel Michael or Gabriel, and not
Okay.
like all powerful. A lot of angelic spirits are just messengers. They're not that grandiose. So that's the best way to explain it. So who knows? I think that the guardian angel you're probably referring to is much stronger and higher ranking, because they have choirs. They have
Okay.
choirs and symphonies. That's how they're ranked. And some of them are extremely powerful, immensely powerful. And then as you go down the scale, they're not as powerful, right?
Well, let me ask you something. What was the sense that you got from the turtle? Did it feel like an animal? Did it feel like a turtle? Or did it feel like this
It felt
ethereal being
it felt something.
that was taking on the shape of a turtle?
Well, I know it wasn't a regular turtle, that's for sure, but
Right.
it felt
But did it still feel animalistic?
no. It
Really?
felt wise. It was very wise, very protective, very comforting. And that makes me wonder if I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know for sure. For now, I'm just going to consider an animal. Makes me wonder if it was just an angel that took an animal form to comfort me.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, my raccoon was a raccoon. I'm kind of obsessed with, okay, not before. I never, but since I had that experience, I've been watching like the videos, like there's so many cute little videos of raccoons, and it acted just like that. And like I said, I never would have guessed a raccoon would have been my spirit animal. I never looked at anything related to raccoons. I've always been very much into dogs and cats.
Yeah.
And that was it. And so the fact that this raccoon came forward, but since then, as I've been watching these videos, I'm like, man, that thing was a raccoon. Like, it acted, it had the hands.
Yeah. You don't choose. Like when I was little, I remember doing something in elementary school. Like, what's your favorite animals? Oh, I like the tiger.
I know.
Everyone says the tiger, the tiger, the tiger. But
I said the lion because I'm a Leo.
now that I'm more older and more mature, like I really appreciate having the turtle. I really do, because the turtle, when you start studying animal spirits and the things they provide, turtle provides creativity, patience, longevity,
Yes.
wisdom, things like that. And so now I've learned to appreciate that more. And you start to realize the tiger is like not as good. So,
I don't know what a raccoon represents. I should look it up. I haven't.
yeah.
I haven't.
Yeah, look it up. Look it up. Look up if you know what type of animal spirit is in your life. You've seen a certain animal many times in your dream, or you've had visions of them, premonitions of them, daydreams of them, anything. Look them up. They're online. There's many different resources online that'll help you tell you what. It's not hidden. The knowledge is out there.
I assume after meditating on it, like, it's not something I've like looked into, but I assume after meditating on the experience that I had with the raccoon, it felt like he was kind of allowing me to embrace the crazy, like, this is just who you are. Be who you are, be authentic, and be happy.
Mhm.
Like, if you are true to yourself and being authentic and everything, you will live a happier life and a less stressful life. And that was, like I said, at that time, I was stressing out really hard about work and kind of like where I was going to go with things. And also not feeling like I was living my authentic life, because at that time, nobody really knew. This was before I came forward with my abilities and really telling people and talking about it and advertising it essentially and offering services. And so nobody really knew about this side of me. And so that was when he presented himself. And I got the message that I felt that I got from that was just be yourself, have fun with it, and let go of the stress. Like, stop stressing about it. This is not something to stress about. You're not supposed to stress about being you. So I embraced it.
So to recap for this question, you can't choose. They choose you. If you don't know, try meditating on it. Reach out, figure out who's out there looking after you. I guarantee you someone is. Someone's looking after you. There's a spirit, there's a guardian angel, there's a spirit animal. Something's out there looking after you on the other side, whether you realize it or not. Try reaching out to and see if you can see who's there. And if you have had dreams, premonitions, anything we've spoken about in that sense, we'd like to hear about it in the comment section. We'd love to hear about your animal spirit or your familiar, if you have a familiar, and what it means to you and how you've experienced them with your journey.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear about it. Yeah.
If you would like to share your experiences, share the crazy things that have happened that you're like, there's no way this is a coincidence, we would love to hear about that. And also, we also recognize that that's a very personal journey.
Yeah.
So it might not be something that you want to share.
You don't want to share, no big deal, but
fine. This is actually the first time I've ever mentioned my raccoon animal spirit because it was deeply personal to me. And yeah, I wasn't sure. I wasn't even sure if I was going to share it this time.
yeah, if you don't feel comfortable, that's fine. But if you want to share, we're definitely eager to hear it because everyone's journey is different. No two journeys are the same. So if you have different experiences, you learn different things. Heck, you can say I don't know what I'm talking about. And feel free to throw out there what you think, what you feel, what you've experienced, and I would love to hear it in the comment section.
Definitely. All
We
right.
would love to hear it in the comment section.
Absolutely. We would. All right. So let's roll into our announcements. Just a friendly reminder that new episodes of the Veil Between podcast comes out every second and fourth Wednesday. And new episodes of Occult Pop comes out every first and third Wednesday. Also Wednesday. Join our Discord. Our Discord is free. It's a free community. Join it. Get to know other like-minded people, share your stories, share your experiences. On there, you can also ask us questions that we will answer on the show or suggest a new topic. You can also email us at theveilbetweenpodcast@gmail.com if you'd rather stay anonymous, totally fine. And we have a book club. Again, it's free and it's on Fable. It's under the Veil Between Book Club. Our current read is Occult America by Mitch Horowitz. It's not too late to join and to get started on it. I'm not that far in it. I'm a few chapters in. So yeah, so check it out. Again, all these things are free. If you're really enjoying our show and want to help us out, the best thing you can do is share, subscribe, share it with other people in your circle, in your community that you think would really enjoy this information, or just have a good laugh at us. We're always laughing at ourselves.
Yeah.
We're pretty kooky, crazy people.
Can't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah. Life's an adventure. Have fun with it. So if you're on a platform, listening to this podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, if you could leave us a rating and or review, that really helps us a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. And we do have our stand store. The link is on our social medias. It's on the YouTube channel. You can download the free Beginner's Psychic Shield Ritual to start defending yourself today, all for free. And if you need a little something more, you can schedule a consultation call with myself and Guy, and we can assist you in taking the steps to defend yourself and protect yourself against whatever might be happening. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Arcana District.
I'm at Instagram and TikTok at Guy Quintero.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us.